I'm working through my thought process here with you. It's now 8ish, so I really want to figure out what book I'm going to start. I have a lot to choose from. I have no idea what vibe I'm going for. It's currently October 27th, but I'm in such a Christmassy, wintry mood. So I do have a good mix in here of a few different fall and winter books to choose from, but I don't know what I'm going to choose. The other day I bought Unsteady. I'm pretty sure it's hockey and figure skating. And I think that's super cute, but I don't know. It's an option. Then, kind of similar, I have The Mistake by Elle Kennedy. I just finished reading The Deal. I really thought I was gonna get into this right away after The Deal because I did love The Deal. But I started university and obviously I didn't read for the first like month or so that I was in class because it was so overwhelming. And I thought that this would be like something really easy to pick up since I already know the characters, I know the world, plus I'm actually in university, so I thought I could relate to it more. But I think I read like 5 pages and I was like, But honestly, I feel like maybe I could. I think this has a higher chance than Unsteady. I think I'm gonna put this in a different pile. I'm working through my thought process here with you. Next, I have One of Us is Lying. I didn't realize that this was very similar to The Breakfast Club in the sense where they have like a brain, a beauty, a criminal, an athlete, and an outcast, but then it also includes a murder mystery. I tried listening to the audiobook version of this today on the bus home from school, and I don't know why, but my Spotify has been so glitchy with audiobooks. Every single one is locked even though I don't use it. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to get 15 free listening hours a month, and I just don't get that for some reason. And then it doesn't give me an option to buy it, whether it's on the app or on the website. So it's impossible to use Spotify audiobooks in Canada, which is really unfortunate because I always see influencers in the States use it religiously, and I want to do that because I love Spotify and I love audiobooks. I do think that a thriller is quite a good idea for fall since I only have like less than a week left. But like now that I'm comparing it, I feel like The Mistake is going to be easier to get into. I'll put this over here as well. It's an option. Next, I have Maggie Moves On by Lucy Score. This one is a little thicker than I would like, and I've heard pretty mixed reviews about Lucy Score, and I feel like I won't love her writing. I've never given it a try, so I know this is probably when I should do it. I picked this up like last week, and I was really expecting to just like deep dive into it. I read the first sentence on the back, and it was just house flipping sensation and YouTube star, and I thought that was really fun because I thought like the house flipping aspect and the YouTuber aspect would be really fun to read about, but I just never picked it up, and now I'm intimidated by the size. So I think that's going in the pile with Unsteady. I hope I'm not talking too fast because I really am just like going through this thought process here. Next is Beartown by Frederick Bachman. I'm pretty sure this is just a story about like hockey in a small town, which I think is really fun, but I think I could love this in the wintertime, and it's just not quite there yet. It is also pretty thick, but I have seen nothing but super high reviews of this book, so I'm not super intimidated by it. I just want like the winter vibes. Next, I could read Binding 13. Intimidating size, but such positive reviews. And same thing with like the whole university aspect. I felt like I could enjoy this more because I'm personally in university now, and I feel like being a student could make reading this that much better. This book is huge. This is a good contender too. Maybe I'll put this over here. The last 2 books are more of like a fall vibe, so if that's what I'm going for. I have Caraval by Stephanie Garber, and I've had this book on my TBR for a decent amount of time, and I've just never had the urge to pick it up, but it looks so intriguing. I feel like I would love it, especially just because like throughout the book there's like letters and really nice art. Oh, like that's the most stunning thing I've ever seen in my life. Honestly, this is a good contender. This is a good contender. I feel like I might like this more than One of Us is Lying. So maybe I should put this over here and swap them out. And then lastly, I have Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I think I've heard pretty good reviews about this as well. Oh, this has really nice art on the inside too. I'm not a huge fantasy girl, and I feel like if I give myself the opportunity to set it down, then I won't pick it back up. So I feel like a 24-hour readathon is the perfect place to read this. Now that I've been yapping forever, let's go over my 3 options. These are the ones that I kept. I feel like out of the 3, I would read Binding 13 last just because it is so big. So that leaves me with these two, and it really just depends what kind of vibe I want. I am always in the mood for a romance. I am a romance girly until I die. But Caraval just seems so fun and fallish. So I feel like I could totally read that and be intrigued. Okay, maybe I will read this. Let me read the back of the book. Oh, that is so fun. Okay, I feel like this is the perfect time to read it because I could picture this being a fall or a winter book. So this being a nice transitional book into the colder weather would be perfect. I'm gonna start reading this. I am shockingly excited. It's been on my TBR for at least a year. I don't even remember when or where I bought this. It's never really intrigued me. It intrigued me in the store when I bought it. And I constantly go through my bookshelves and donate books that I know I'll never read. And I never want to get rid of this one because I knew that one day it would intrigue me. And I think today's the day. So I'm going to try and start reading it. I'm excited to see where it goes. Hi besties. I just got out of the shower. It's Halloween today, by the way. I thought this would be a fitting time to vlog and add it into the same vlog that I'm reading Caraval in because almost the end of fall. To me, fall ends literally tonight at midnight. I'm Canadian, so I already had Thanksgiving too. Tomorrow I actually work, so I'm not doing anything tomorrow, but Sunday, Nate and I are putting up the Christmas tree and all of that fun stuff. It will officially be Christmas. This is crazy, but we are actually almost done Christmas shopping already. We were just itching to spend money and we have been doing just that, but it's kind of nice when you can spend money and you can just say, oh, it's for someone else. You still get that shopping high, but then you don't have all the stuff that you don't need and buyer's remorse. If you're wondering, I am pretty loyal to my Clinique skincare and I was really sick of buying the really expensive cases, and for some reason I thought it was a good idea to order just the smaller one. So I don't have the box with me, but you basically get this little toner, which is the same size toner as the other box, plus a small shower like cleanser, same size as the other box. But this lotion that I normally get is this size. I actually don't think it's that far off. This is 1 fluid ounce. Oh, this is 4.2. So I was under the impression it was a lot closer of a size, but I'm currently pouring this into here because I really like the pump top. So I just cut it open and I'm digging for gold in a minute. Let me tell you that. I don't really know how to dig for gold properly, but anyway, Nate and I kind of thought of a last minute costume idea. I am the type of person, like back in May, I'm telling him, let's do this, and he's like, babe, relax, it's only May. And then he always wins because like mid to end of October, we still don't have a costume. And I'm like, oh, okay, so what are we gonna go as? Because we can't order anything now. So this year I'm going as a butterfly and he's going as a butterfly catcher. I saw it on Pinterest. We ended up getting everything we needed and it honestly looks so adorable and it was really cheap. I'm just wearing black, so all I needed to get was like the wings and the antennas. So that's super exciting. I am about to use my Revlon blow dryer brush to give myself a blowout, which I haven't done in forever. I love a blowout. I don't know why I stopped doing it. I think just in the summer, it's just way too humid, so it doesn't last anyway. Now it is prime blowout season. I do have a few face masks I want to do first though, because my skin gets so dry after I shower. But I figured while I do that, I can talk about Caraval. So I'm currently reading Caraval by Stephanie Garber. You already know this. I already showed you this at the beginning of the vlog. I just started The Night of Caraval Eve, which is page 81. I do think this is the perfect book to go from fall into winter. Like this is the perfect time to read it, I think, because it's like kind of fallish, but also it's kind of wintry. This smells like straight alcohol, so hold on. So obviously, I'm at the part where they're at Caraval. If you don't know what this is about, you're following Scarlett. Her and her sister Donatella, they live on the Isle of Trisda with their very abusive father, who is the king. I think he's the king. Their dream is to both get off the island, but there's not really a way for them to do that safely without their dad literally murdering them. So Scarlett writes letters to Caraval, which is like a carnival that goes to a different city every year, and they only go to one place once a year. It's very magical, but it's kind of like a dangerous game. So Scarlett gets tickets to go, and they leave the island and they go to Caraval. And by the time Scarlett gets there, she realizes that Tella is gone, and Tella is actually kidnapped by Legend, who runs Caraval. And this year's game is the first to find Tella wins. They make it very clear that everything that happens in Caraval is just a game, a performance, and they tell you not to get too soaked into it, but obviously Scarlett gets too soaked into it. But I'm at the part where they just got to Caraval. I will say I'm not very much of a fantasy reader, as we know. There's definitely subplots of romance in this book so far, which I do like, but I'm actually very intrigued in the story for once. I'm gonna put this on and then continue talking to you so I don't look like a scary freak. So okay, it's a little later now. I'm done my face mask. I'm doing some eye patches. I wanted to keep talking about Caraval. So I'm really not much of a fantasy girl. Like, I read romance back to back with maybe like one thriller a year, but fantasy is kind of harder for me to get into. It's so much more intimidating to me because I feel like the world building aspect and understanding magic sometimes is a little difficult for me. I say that, but I've never really even given it a chance. But this is actually keeping my attention and it's really interesting. I remember when I saw the concept of this book, I really liked it, so I bought it. That's why it's been on my TBR, but I was always just kind of nervous, and I do think that this was the perfect time to pick it up because it is very fall but also winter-esque. I've never read anything by Stephanie Garber, but I like how her writing is kind of to the point. It's not very overwhelming, but it still gives that like olden vibe. I love when books have like fun visuals throughout. It adds so much to the story, so I think that's super fun. I truly look like, this is so crazy, but I truly look forward to like pages like this because they're just so pretty to look at, and I think it's like such an accomplishment to make it there, because when I'm looking like through the side, just knowing that I'm like, anyway, I feel like not much has happened, so I can't really say much about the plot and what I think of that. The writing portion, it's good. It is third person, and I actually don't love third person, but after like the first chapter, I kind of get used to it, and I just forget that it is from that perspective. That wasn't a very good update, but I just haven't read enough of it to actually give you something substantial. I'm going to try and drink a good amount tonight because we haven't been out in so long, but I really don't want to be hungover. But I guess we'll see when the time comes. Plus it is just Nate and I going out, so it really shouldn't be that bad. We're literally just drinking in our basement and then going to the bar, and we're probably gonna leave around midnight because we are literally 60 years old, so we'll see. But I'm excited to show you our costumes. Right now it is 5 o'clock, so by the time I do my hair and makeup, it'll be probably at least 7, so I'll see you then with my costume. Hi besties. I need to update you on this because I had to stop myself from reading it yesterday so I could update you on a little bit before finishing it in one go. It's actually insane. However, I just got back from such a side quest. I just met Tyler Hilton, who plays Chris Keller in Winter Hill. So that's hilarious, to be honest. Here we are. He's a man of few words. Let me tell you that. He was probably just really tired because he did meet like 80 people before me, but man of few words, which same. Is that better? Okay, that's better. I also have one more thing to show you because this is the cutest thing ever. We were walking around the mall waiting to go to Indigo where his book signing and meet and greet was, and I saw this store called Sad Nuggies, and it was literally a huge store where it's like Build-A-Bear, but you don't build the bear, you just buy it. Basically there are these like chicken nuggets, they're stuffed animals, and they're all different kinds. I got one. First of all, it's given to you in a frickin' fry basket. I got a little raccoon. I named it Cal after Calpurnia. He is so cute. I don't know why I'm showing you this. I'm just obsessed with it. And it comes with a lot of goodies. I got some stickers. He came with a little collector's card, and then on the back it has all of his information, like his birthday, his height, weight, nationality, his favorite food, a little certificate of adoption, and then the worker says because we're in Canada, he actually has free healthcare. So he has a health card that is just the cutest thing ever, and then just a little health report and some information about their health clinic, which is a real thing. Apparently they have a doctor's office, so you can go there with your little nuggie and his health card, and you can figure out his allergies and stuff, or if he's ripped anywhere, then you can go to the doctor's office and get him stitched up for free. Is that not the cutest thing ever? I was not planning on showing you that, but it was on the table right in front of me, and I couldn't not. These little nuggets out of a raccoon costume. Now to talk about the book. So yesterday I was on page 80, and probably within like an hour I got to page 177. Before I picked it up yesterday, I was kind of dreading the idea of picking it up. I just do that. The first 100 pages of books, I seriously have to sit myself down and force myself to read it. But once I'm actually immersed into the story, it's way easier to continue on. So I kind of just forced myself to pick it up. And once I did that, I could not set it down. It is so fast paced. I'm on the edge of my seat the whole time. I don't know what's real or fake. There is a lot of unanswered questions, which I don't love. Because of the way that the story works, I don't know if we're even going to get answers at the end of it, just because some of the unanswered questions are kind of part of the whole manipulation and game of Caraval, so I think it's meant to be unanswered. We are seeing it from Scarlett's perspective, however, there is like a narrator because it's third person. I don't know what Stephanie Garber wants us to think or what perspective she wants us to see from. I might actually sit down and finish this whole thing in the next couple hours. There's a little bit of a romance subplot, which I'm loving. The world and the magic and the mystery and the manipulation. I think if it were just Scarlett, I wouldn't be as intrigued, but because Julian is there and gives us that crutch of like a person that we can trust, even though obviously we don't know if we can trust him or if it's honestly even the real him, because every time I read something, I think that it's just like a made up thing, even if it's to do with him. But either way, I like having someone or something that I can trust, because I feel like if it were just all fake or an act, I would feel so confused and just not that interested. So I actually love Julian's character, even though I can't tell if he's kind of written to be more of a villain or not, but I'm loving all of the scenes with him, which is all of the scenes. And it's also crazy how obviously this is like a magical place with a lot going on and the stakes are high. However, it's crazy how Stephanie Garber can write something so interesting with pretty much just two characters and one location. Like obviously there's a lot of people that we're passing through and a lot of things that are happening. My attention is absolutely hooked. I'm gonna go probably finish this right now and I will update you on a rating and final reviews. I do think because the first 100-ish pages were kind of slow because it was mainly world building, and I am biased because I'm not a huge fantasy reader. I feel like it can't really be a 5-star because I did struggle to get through that first 100 pages, but I could be totally wrong. I don't know what I'm gonna think when I'm done. I'm gonna go finish this. But I needed to tell you that because I almost finished this yesterday. Guys, I have finished Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I did film this video a few times, but my camera kept dying and then I had to go to work. So now it's later in the day. I finished it this morning. I could not set it down until probably like page 300. It obviously started wrapping up, and maybe this is controversial, I don't know, but I didn't love the end of the story. I think in some ways it was a little too back and forth. I honestly think it could have been like 50 pages shorter if she just took out a little bit of that back and forth. I obviously can't say anything without spoiling it, so I'm not going to, but if you've read it, then you might know what I mean. I think the story could have been just as good without a few things happening at the end. And as I was reading, I definitely knew that, and I kept telling myself that, like, why is this happening? Also, why is Scarlett having to go through so much? Like, what? I think it was just, and maybe this is gonna sound stupid because it's obviously meant to be like a psychological thriller in a way. It's supposed to manipulate you and mess with your mind, but I think it just did it a little bit too much nearing the end. I feel like the ending could have kind of answered some questions in a less manipulative way, but the manipulation kept on going until like the very end, which I don't think was super necessary, but obviously it was still entertaining and fun to read. Stephanie Garber's writing is gorgeous. Haley Pham keeps calling writing flowery, and whenever she says that, I just assume that she means like very poetic, romantic. I feel like Stephanie Garber writes like that. I don't know if that's actually what flowery writing means, but that's what I picture it to be like. And her writing is so flowery. I really want to read her Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. I have seen nothing but good reviews about that. And the covers are actually the most stunning things I've ever seen in my life. So the fact that I actually love her writing style makes me so happy. I think I will continue this series because it's just something I've never read before, and it honestly I think has gotten me into fantasy a little bit. I could definitely see myself liking the adventure aspect and just like the olden times. I don't really know how to explain that, but like the corsets and the big dresses, or even like I did read Assassin's Blade, and that was just like fun. I just love like a fantasy world, and I don't know why I've always been so nervous to read it. I think it just seems so much harder for me than what I think is like an easy little romance. But I think after this I might have to read more fantasies because it was so fun being in just like such a magical and unrealistic world in a good way. I want to be taken out of the world when I read. This did that for me. I honestly don't know if I have anything else to say. Maybe I just don't read fantasies a lot. Maybe this was actually a really good ending. I kind of want to know what other people thought about the ending, but obviously it does leave you on a bit of a cliffhanger, so you can read the rest of the series, and I am interested in that.